Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Prodigious, the prominent professor at Proclamation News and Gatherence. Thank you all for coming through. I really appreciate everyone coming through. We're actually coming through at PNG with Professor Johnson. I'm looking at the ideology of the world, the safety of the democracy, which is paramount amongst the UK Dominion. And a capital P in proclamation, capital P in persuasion, capital P in persuasive, capital P in punctuation, capital P in provocative. I'm the capital P in propaganda. I'm the capital P in purity. I'm the capital P in progressive. I'm the capital P in progression. I'm the capital P in philanthropist. I'm the capital P in populism. I'm a motivational speaker, and I want you guys to take it on board. This is a tuition lesson. If you want a divine elevation, you want success, you want aspirations, you want goals to go to, gains to get, listen in, take it on board. I'll give you so much advice day in, day out. Before entering UK roads, think safety, think first. There's so many accidents, deaths, and citizens that are victims of incidents through stupidity of inhumane numpties that enter the vehicle under sleep deprivation, under the influence of alcoholism and narcotics. Make sure your car is MOT'd. Check your engine oil and water coolant level. Water coolant tank is topped up to maximum level. Check your PSI limits to make sure that maximum PSI. Making sure your tyres not bowled. Making sure you and your passengers on board have their seat belts adjacent to the car seat, and baby on board having their seat belts adapted adjacent to the car seat as well. Make sure it's sufficient and it sits in comfortably before takeoff. Making sure you got sufficient fuel on board before reaching your destination. Think of the congestion on the road as well, so always put extra fuel in your tank because you don't want to break down on the motorway. That's an absolute catastrophe. You don't want that to happen. Do not want that to happen. Check your check out for police signs, and before turning, acting in a safe, sufficient directional choice. Check out for motorcyclists and cyclists overtaking, or anyone overtaking, and pedestrians crossing the road. Make sure they've crossed the road before acting and merging in front of you. So think safety, think first. We're going to look into the UK roads, accidents within the UK, to give you some ideas. If you're planning to go on a destination, a trip, give you some ideas. You might be going on a little break with your family somewhere. We're going to give you some ideas. We're looking at the constituency of Essex area. See what's going on in Clacton Sea on sea at the minute. That sort of area. There is nothing going on. Elmsted Market, we have roadworks. Construction, temporary traffic signals on A133. Temporary traffic signals due to construction on A133 Colchester Road at Oatlands. That was reported on the 31st of March. It's still there at 1:30 p.m. So when you go to Elmsted Market, bear in mind this temporary traffic signal. So if there is congestion on the roads, that is why. Another road on a B1025. That's coming up from Aberton, which is near Finger and Hoe, on the way into Colchester. Telecoms work, temporary traffic signals due to telecoms work on B1025 Mersey Road near Buckley Place. That was reported on the 17th of May. It's still there now. So, you know, if you're going to think you're going to hit congestion, plan your journey an hour before, because you might be stuck in congestion. That was reported on the 17th of May at 5 a.m. So there you go. I'm giving you updates of around Essex. What is going on in Essex? I'm letting you know now. We're going to have a look at Great Hawksley. See what's going on there. A134 Tempe traffic signals to telecoms work on the A134 Nayland Road near the Half Butt Inn on the 18th of May 2021 at 5 to 10 a.m. Please leave your comments, your feedback of this methodical madness that I do every day. That's why I call myself the Prodigious, the prominent professor. I do this day in, day out as a philanthropist. I'm going to get somewhere with it because I talk sense. I come with etiquette in style, as you can see, and pragmatic with sense. Absolutely. Bury St Edmunds, ladies and gents. There's roadworks, telecoms, traffic signal, telecoms work, traffic signal due to telecoms work on Beaton's Way at Anglin Lane on the 10th of May, 12:34 p.m. It was first reported. I've been doing this for over 3 years now. I think I am a phenomenal speaker. I need more support on my YouTube, guys. Please, if you're listening on social media, on my Castbox, on podcasts, or Facebook or Twitter, please subscribe to Proclamation News and Gatherence. I'm most certainly making a massive difference within the UK if people abide by the rules and regulations that's given out from the parliamentary judiciary, the biggest judiciary in the UK. I'm giving you some good guidance. If you take it in tuition or not is another thing. Anyway, Cambridge, B1049 construction, Tempe traffic signals due to construction on B1049 Histon Road near Linden Close, 13th of May 2021, 5 a.m. That's in Cambridge. I want to get up near my old constituencies. I've got to zoom out a minute. Bear with me 2 seconds. Near Peterborough, Bedford. Here we go. We're near my old constituency now. Milton Keynes, Bedford. Where's Hatfield? Buttingsford. Near it somewhere. Luton, Milton Keynes. Where is my Hatfield? Hertfordshire. Anyway, we're going to look in Bedford for now because I cannot find Hatfield. Luton. Ah, there we go. Sorry, I'm good. Near it now. Somewhere near it. St Albans. I'm blind as a bat he is. Oh, Hatfield. Here we go. Sandpit Lane, Tempe traffic signals to water mains work. Tempe traffic signal due to water main work on Sandpit Lane at Coppins Green. That was reported on 19th April, 10 a.m. First reported. It's still there now, guys. Anything that's I'm reporting is still there now. So bear that in mind. Use your initiative. Plan your destination. Do not enter the vehicle under the influence of alcoholism and narcotics. Make that a certainty. Especially if you're working long hours, you need to have some sleep. Near the Warner Brothers studio, which I've been right near. Tempe traffic signals, water mains work due to Tempe traffic signals on Dunny Lane near a Lady Catholic Church at 28th April, 9:30. That is it for the road incidents within inside the UK. There's plenty more, but I'm just giving you an idea. You need to plan your destination. There's a bit of athleticism, talking about the football. There's a petition going on for calling for independent regulating English football passes, 100,000 signatures. If any of you guys want to get involved in this, make sure you listen in. The football players are calling out for English football passes. More than 100,000 people have signed a parliamentary petition launched by ex-footballers calling for an independent regulator in English football. Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher, Rio Ferdinand and Gary Lineker are among 23 ex-players and journalists to undersign an open letter to fans. They say April's European Super League attempted breakaway demonstrates the need to reform the game's governance. It must now be considered for a parliamentary debate. As football fans, we were appalled by the attempt to set up European Super League. It reads a letter which has also been signed by Jamie Redknapp and Micah Richards. It was a direct threat to the integrity of the game, destroying the concept of sporting merit and open competition. Supporters came together with one voice to oppose the cynical power grab by a group of wealthy owners. The furious protests were heard and the breakaway fell apart. Now we must make sure this never happens again without swift and direct intervention. The return of a European Super League will be a constant threat. In addition to an independent regulator, the petition also called for government legislation which would stop Premier League clubs from attempting to abandon the football pyramid. Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United, Manchester City and Tottenham all withdraw from the European Super League within 48 hours of its launch after fans protested. The move was criticised by the government, which was brought forward to a fan-led review into English football that will consider ownership, finance and supporter involvement in the game. We welcome the fans-led government review of the game and hope that leads to lasting change on an array of important concerns, including coordinated strategy to deal with racism, supporters, representation within clubs, LGBTQ issues, ticket costs and distribution of incomes. The letter added, all those aims can be realised if we take advice or action now. Speaking on Friday, Sports Minister Nigel Huddleston said the fan-led review into football will look into the possibility of independent regulator. We are looking at things and considering things such as regulator. He told BBC Sport, it's in the mix. It's certainly something that I know some people see great benefit from. It's in the mix. There's no doubt about it at the moment. Premier League Chief Executive Richard Masters added, it's appropriate that football comes up with the proposals around fan representation and consultation. We have to be open to regulatory change, but I don't think the answer is an independent regulator. I would defend the Premier League's record in regulating its clubs. There you go, some football updates. I just want to give a shout out to some, some of these local community things that help out the deprived people in our community. If you're suffering that anxiety, depression, what kind of community do you want to go to gain confidence? Something like church. A church has everything. Anyone suffering from depression, anxiety, or they need like a sort of like a psychiatrist kind of help. Someone in the church is very, very. There are a lot of people in the church are very clued up, with them cognitive skills to help you out and ease that stress, that tension, that anxiety, that depression. They give you a bit of guidance in life. Drinking your cup of tea with the right people as well in a good community is always a good step to build back better your mental health. Your mental health is wealth. You've got to look after it, and then people will give you just that. Also, food bank. Food bank is one of the best ever things put in UK soil to help support people that are suffering, because health is wealth, and if you get food, which the food bank they provide fresh goods as well sometimes. So fresh goods as well, so they can help you with your nutrition. Exactly what we need today, isn't it? Absolutely. Thank you everyone for joining on podcast and Castbox. I really appreciate you all coming through today, and everyone on social media, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Everyone are actually coming through supporting the show. It is phenomenal. Boris Johnson gives new update on chances of England's lockdown restrictions lifting further. It follows report that a June 21 lockdown ending is unlikely to happen. As you know, there's a new variant in India coming through, so it's going to put more strain on lifting restrictions. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has sounded a note of caution while saying England's route out of the COVID lockdown is still clear. Mr. Johnson said, I don't see anything conclusive at the moment to say that we need to deviate from the roadmap, but we've got to be cautious. I mean, who could you point the finger at? Whose fault is it to let the Indian variant in? I mean, we do massive amounts of globalization trade with India in our country. So to survive, we need to use globalization with India. We get our medicines from India. We get our clothes from India. We get some of our electronic devices from India. We get our rice, our pastas, you know, a lot of sauces that we use. You know, you can't be off it. You can't be off it. And you can't mock India for the, you know, for the COVID. Everyone's had it. Every nation's had it. And we do globalization with a lot of these big countries. And, you know, it is what it is. We just got to get them. We can't blame the Prime Minister, because it's not the Prime Minister's fault to shut the borders, because it has to go for massive legislation through Parliament, which will probably take 6 months to shut borders. We're shutting off borders. We're shutting off supplies. We can't live off our own resources because we're not intelligent enough, obviously. We need surgeons, we need doctors, we need, you know, not enough educated English people, unfortunately, to do these job description or make these electronics that we need and medicines. So, you know, we can't be off it, and we can't get under it, and we can't get over it. We just got to get on with it, rather than sit there criticising the government or criticising Indian or criticising Chinese. It is what it is. You know, we just got to live with it and get through it. Speaking at a vaccination centre in London, the Prime Minister said, "We are looking at the epidemiology of the whole time as it comes in, and at the moment, partly because we have built up such a wall of defences with the vaccination programme, I don't see anything conclusive at the moment to say that we need to deviate the roadmap. But we've got to be cautious, and we are keeping everything under very close observation." I mean, let's be looking at the R number today to what it was last year, and that's how we should tackle moving forward. Tackle how can we open up these traffic light systems? How can we open up these tier systems as well in different constituencies? We all know a lot more in a few days' time. His warning comes as the Indian coronavirus variant continues to cause concern and ending lockdown restrictions. Spread of the variant could lead to the return of local lockdowns, ministers have acknowledged. So what I'm thinking, like, we're all having this vaccination in years to come. Are we going to have to take a new vaccination? New variants come out. Is our vaccination going to be strong enough to fight these other variants coming through? Is this going to be like a swine flu jab? Is it going to be, you know, just like a normal illness that we need to protect ourselves from every year? Quite possibly. The rise in cases of the highly transmissible variant of concern risks the next stage of England's roadmap out of lockdown, currently penciled in for June the 21st, being delayed. But if outbreaks are limited, ministers could opt instead push ahead with the reopening while keeping some areas under restrictions in an echo of controversial tier systems. I mean, there's nothing, these professors that make these vaccinations, they can't pinpoint and say it can protect you against every variant that comes into play. There's going to be a new strain from many more countries, maybe more new strains that we develop in England. Who knows? Cabinet Minister George Eustice still wants the June 21 measures, which would see most remaining restrictions scrapped, to go ahead, but said, "We can never rule out that there may have been to be a delay." Asked whether it is possible for parts of the country to enjoy new freedoms on June the 21st, while others are kept under restrictions, Mr. Eustice said, "That would be an option, and we cannot rule anything out, obviously, at this stage." But he told Sky News the preferred outcome would be to drive up vaccination rates in areas where there have been outbreaks. Thank you all for coming through. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist, I don't think, to think if there's going to be new variants out in the future, what's to say these vaccinations are going to cover us? I don't think any health advisor could give you that fact that that's going to be the procurement for all of us going back to normality, because it possibly isn't. It already says it only protects about 70 to 80%. So quite possibly a new variant will, you know, will beat that last bit of 30% of your bit that not protected and then make you ill. So there you go. There's your answer. It says it on the tin, doesn't it? Why shouldn't you expect a summer of love after lockdown ends? So you still be careful, you know. You want to go out, you want to meet a new partner. You got to be careful because you don't take that infection into your family. Over the past year, many single people have patiently waited through what might have seemed like a long, slow death of their romantic lives. Social distancing has meant fewer dates, while strict physical distance measures designed to limit the spread of COVID-19 were quickly branded a sex ban when they come into force in the UK in 2020. But the strict physical distance rules eased in parts of the UK as of Monday, May 17th. Some social scientists are now predicting a summer of love, flush with the same abandon that accompanied the Roaring '20s. Anticipating a sudden flurry of sexual activity isn't unrealistic. Some singletons will rush back into the dating scene headfirst to enjoy their newfound freedoms, but much has changed since March 2020, not least the way we date. And with many people reporting rusty social skills and higher levels of social anxiety, I'd expect it to take some time before single people can comfortably date once more. A new dating scene. It's too simple to say that single people have abandoned intimate relationships completely during periods of lockdown. Instead, there has been flourishing of creative new forms of dating and intimacy building online. Young people in particular have been using various platforms to maintain some intimate links with others, including flirting, often as a form of game. Some dating apps, meanwhile, have enabled users to match with anyone in their country or even anyone across the world, with many using the opportunity to get to know people hundreds of thousands of miles away, in the knowledge that a casual hookup cannot happen. It's good to network because you can find out what's going on across the globe in different countries. You want to learn about sociological change in a different environment, a different country, and different climate. Social media is the way to go, the way to network. Even single people are not looking for some romance, but looking to engage their wisdom. Go for it. Network. I strongly advise networking. You can find a lot speaking in different countries, learning about globalization, learning about sociological change. What could climate weather do for your health? Because it could definitely do a lot better for my health as a warmer climate. Absolutely. More generally, video calls have become much more commonplace in dating, emerging as an important step prior to the meeting face to face. They can help to manage anxieties about meeting up with strangers and may help minimize the tendency to idolize potential partners, which can lead to disappointment and conflict. Given these benefits, we can expect the video date to continue into the summer. I mean, if you don't like becoming in some sort of face-to-face conflict, like when you talk to someone, you feel like you can get conflict, you know, when you disagree with someone, it comes a bit more abrupt, doesn't it, when you speak to someone's face? I find a bit of a strain speaking to someone's face and rather on social networking. It's a lot easier. You can express yourself more. And if you upset someone, you just delete the message or block the person, move on to the next person. It's easy. You don't upset no one intentionally. Boring or slow? Testing the waters with a video call before face-to-face date also points to a growing appreciation of slow dating, taking the time to get to know a partner instead of jumping in the deep end. One recent survey found that daters are more likely to value developing a deeper emotional connection with a potential partner before a physical one. It's important to get to know your partner as well, isn't it? I mean, especially for a woman on a man's perspective. Women's femininity is delicate, isn't it? I mean, a man masculine, a lot of men, you know, come across abrupt and they come across, you know, you don't know what they've got hidden underneath their hat, what their convictions are. You can check up on the Clare's Law, see if they've got any history, maybe been done for adultery, anything. You don't know what these people you're meeting have been done for. Have a check on the Clare's Law. Make your safety is paramount, so make sure you check who you're dating. Slow dating would seem to make sense pre-lockdown. Many of us still experiencing and highlighting awareness of physical safety and the risk of illness. One report found that a third of daters who surveyed are apprehensive about kissing and hugging others, with a quarter were worried about catching coronavirus from potential dates. Not only have you got, if you can have a sexual relationship, you've got to worry about sexual infection. You also got to worry about coronavirus. You've got to practice safe sex before you think about coronavirus. Then you've got to think about coronavirus. Are you going to wear a mask when you have a cuddle? Are you going to wear a mask when you go on your date? Because you can't kiss each other, theoretically, if you want to stay safe and keep the rest of your family safe. It appears that many singles people are aware of these barriers to intimacy, which won't simply be magicked away as restrictions ease. Online dating profiles mentioning the word vaccinated have increases in the past year, with the syringe imagery now commonplace on dating profiles. But there may also be a desire among daters to deal with an uncertain future by minimising what researchers sometimes refer to as relational turbulence. The intense emotions at the start of relationships, such as jealousy, which can sometimes lead to conflict. Taking things slow and forming deeper bonds with others might be one way of navigating the uncertainty caused by the pandemic. Fear of dating again. There's other reasons why you should expect a sudden flow of sexual activity. Many single people reported fear ambivalent about going back to normal, with fears of crowds, socialising, having increased recently, such as anxieties, have coalesced into what is being called a fear of dating again, a phenomenon that has been given its own acronym, FODA. The apprehensiveness about meeting others and having to be social again means the wild summer of hedonism and hookups is likely out of reach for many people who are still recovering from a difficult year. This may be especially true for the individuals who are socially anxious, shy, or introverted, from whom lockdown may even have felt like a respite. I just want to say thank you, everyone, for being observant and staying preserved. That shows that you're a critical thinker. I'm part of the aristocracy social elite. You guys listening are part of the aristocracy social elite. You're allowed to give me some constructive criticism. If you want to pull me up on something, or you feel like you're part of the discussion, then feel free to leave us a constructive criticism or give me some feedback. Maybe you're part of what I've been talking through. Maybe you want to thank one of the communities I've been talking about. Maybe a bit, we've got life of purgatory. A problem shared is a problem half. So you're always free to comment and give us some courage, or maybe you want to give that community that helped you back on track some, give them a thank you, and I can share it over the radio. We've got to thank all our NHS and our police, our key workers in the supermarkets. I don't think they get much of a praise, but all through this lockdown with piles of queues outside the shopping centre, they've had to sort out the traffic system to queue up. Annoying as it is, it's kept us all safe. You have to keep 2 meters apart. If you've got a trolley or not, wash your trolley handle before you walk in the trolley. Make sure you wash your hands before you go in. The system they had to get in the shopping centre was phenomenal. So you can thank as well the supermarket and the food banks especially for the poor people. Like I say, the lavish lifestyle is not a rich lifestyle. A lavish lifestyle is a healthy lifestyle. And all thanks to what the food bank do for poor people. Makes you rich in wealth. Makes you rich in wealth for having a healthy diet. Absolutely. COVID Indian variant cases in 86 cancelled areas. Hancock. There are now 86 local authorities with 5 or more confirmed cases of the Indian COVID variant. Health Secretary Matt Hancock has said. This is just about Bolton, Blackburn, he said, referring to all areas seeing a spike in cases. It comes as millions of people can now enjoy freedom as lockdown is easing in England, Wales and most of Scotland. But the government has warned its next review on social distancing rules may be delayed. Number 10 said that Indian variant could pose a threat. to the process of deciding whether all remaining lockdown restrictions could be eased on the 21st of June. Mr. Hancock told the House of Commons there were now 2,323 confirmed cases of the Indian variant in the UK. This means there has been a 77% increase in confirmed cases of the variant over the last 5 days. There are now 86 local authorities where there are 5 or more confirmed cases, he said. There are 343 local authorities in England. Mr. Hancock said the Indian variant was now the dominant strain of the virus in Bolton as well as Blackburn and Darwen, and was rising in all age groups. He said most people in hospital in those areas had been eligible for a vaccine but had chosen not to have it, and urged anyone not sure whether to get jabbed to look at what's happening in Bolton. So if you haven't had a jab or you're just being binoidal or not having it, this could soon be you. You're lucky you're not in Bolton at the minute because you could spread it, you could get it and then be at a risk to your family. So just go and get the vaccination if you've been offered it. Bedford was also fast becoming a hotspot for the variant. Mr. Hancock has said, and surge testing would begin there. Some people are so selfish not to have the vaccination. I've lost some of my closest friends. They've lost their family members, the fathers, mothers, etc., etc. You know, my son has only got COVID, has had COVID. You know, don't be selfish. Go and get the vaccination. It doesn't make you a big person not having it. It makes you a stupid person. You're putting your own family at risk. Scientists believe the Indian variant does spread more easily, but early data suggests vaccines still work. The exact impact on vaccine efficiency, if any, is yet to be confirmed. People aged 37 over in England will be able to get the vaccine from Tuesday, he said, and the rollout will continue to be expanded later in the week. The lockdown change on Monday, which are different in England, Wales and Scotland, have seen 1,000 people heading off on foreign holidays, flocking to bingo halls and drinking inside pubs again. Please have also taken a chance to finally hug loved ones as the guidance on close contacts were changed. Hospital ward manager Viv Hudson, 58, wept with joy as she finally hugged her daughter, Teresa Fox, for the first time in more than a year. It's a bit weird, but a good kind of weird. I've missed this so much, said Teresa, 38, who also works for the NHS. While we can take this step today, we must be humble in the face of this virus, says Mr. Hancock. He pointed out that fewer than 1,000 people were in hospital with the virus, the first time this has happened since September. Latest figures show another 1,976 cases have been recorded across the UK, and a further 5 people have died. Meanwhile, the number of people who have received the first vaccine close to top to 36.7 million, and more than 20.2 million second doses have been given. Porn blocker missing online safety bills concern. Campaigners are astonished that the government's draft online safety bill does not contain long-promised age verification checks for pornography. Companies have invested heavily in technology in recent years to prepare for legally required checks, but an early law requiring them was never enforced. The government says the new bill will focus on online platforms where children are more likely to find pornography by chance. This includes social media, but the law may not apply to commercial adult sites because the current draft only covers websites containing user-generated content. You need to make sure your child have got the adult locks on their internet, on their phone, on their server, and their laptops, making sure they're not searching through adult content. I was completely astonished when I saw the bill, said John Kerr, Secretary of Children's Charities Connotation in Internet Safety. Pornhub, X-Hamster, all the big commercial pornography sites, the largest single source of pornography in the world, are outside the scope of the bill, or could easily put themselves outside of the scope of the bill. They could do so by easily removing all users' upload content, he said, as Pornhub recently did within days of the investigation being launched into its user-generated content. It could do it. They could do it, and it would not affect core business model in any way, shape, or form. Mr. Carr said. Proposal to make UK pornography users confirm their age, accessing explicit content, was first mooted in 2016. It was made law in 2017, Digital Economy Act, but that was never brought into force after repeated delays, and it fears it would not work. It was officially dropped in 2019, but the government pledged over measures would achieve the same results. A strong case, Culture Secretary Oliver Dowden told the meeting of the Digital Culture, Media and Sports DCMS committee that the online safety bill was designed to deal with the social media sites, where he believed the biggest risk with pornography was kids stumbling across it. He also suggested most commercial porn sites do not have user-generated content on them, so most of them will be in scope. But he left the door open to firm up the rules. I don't have a closed mind on this. If we could find the commensurate way of providing wider protection for children within it, I think there is a strong case for doing that, Mr. Dowden had said. Companies hosting user-generated content, video sharing or live streaming will need to prove to an independent regulator they can put to stop children accessing harmful content, a spokeswoman for the DCMS said. Our new laws will therefore go further than the Digital Economic Act, she added. I mean, as a kid, don't think about your kids. Think about us when we were kids. You know, we probably had little sneak peek what adults used to, you know, get up to. We didn't know how children got here or whatever. You know, we wanted to see what's going. Theoretically, you're not allowed to, you know, watch these things. But does it? As long as they're not participating with the adults, they're looking like maybe seeing what people do, how to go about safe sex, perhaps. I don't know. When I was a kid, I can't quite remember if I watched porn. I don't think it had been about. I don't think mum and dad let me have a chance. But I'm just saying, if we was going back when we was kids, we had all the internet we've got now. If we learned safe sex, would we have had the kids we have had ourselves? You know, I'm talking not just from myself, I'm talking from a woman's perspective as well. So if any of the mothers or my children listening, would we practice safe sex been a bit more thingy? Because at the end of the day, both mothers and my children have gone the other way. So it's something that needs to be looked at, but by both parents. But anyway, moving on. Tactical move. John Carr said there were two scurrilous rumours circulating about their omission. That either it was a tactical move by the government or that the authorities simply didn't want to enforce it. But Baroness Floelle Benjamin, a House of Lords member who has campaigned on issues around pornography, said she believes parliamentary review will add back the essential elements of the older law. It was obvious that adult sites would simply drop interactive functionality to evade age verification, she said. The elephant in the room is what happens to protect children over the next 3 or 4 years, she warned, because of the time it would take to develop and implement the rules. A 7-year-old will be a teenager before his time laws come into force, she said. It will come back in. The support network for adult professionals, the UK adult industry body, said it had also been expecting new law to cover age verification. We will think in time what will happen. We believe Brexit and COVID made the government put it to one side, the group said. After the years of back and forth, most companies have been set up to handle it, but we think that some businesses are pleased it's not in yet, it added. Age verification, I mean, that's what I thought. Most things you have to sign up with your email and put your age in. Age verification providers association, which represents firms providing the technology, said it interpreted Mr. Dowden's comment as having agreed to accept an amendment to extend it to commercial pornographic websites. It also said that online safety bill has greater commitments to privacy, which would benefit age systems. I mean, places like Pornhub and Hamster, you should have to put your you know, your passport or your driving license in to 35 your age. That's the only way you can make it safe. That is the only way you can make it safe. You know, if that's the route that I'm going to go down. I do, yeah, I agree with it, absolutely. I just, you know, when I was saying it, I'm just thinking back when I was a kid, but, you know, would have done me no harm to see what adults got up to. Zoe Ball leaves Strictly, It Takes Two. Presenter Zoe Ball has announced she's leaving Strictly Comes Dance's spin-off program, It Takes Two. She has presented the show, which is broadcast every weekend during Strictly's run since 2011. Dance lovers, after 10 joyous years, I am waltzing away from its Take Two. She said it was time for some new cha-cha challenges and thanked the whole Strictly clan. I will miss you all immensely. Ball continued to co-present the programme even after she began hosting on BBC Radio 2's Breakfast Show in 2019. However, she reduced the number of takes to episodes she's represented earlier week, with Ryan Clark-Neal fronting the programme on certain days in her place. Ball also announced that professional dancer Ian Waite, who regularly appears on the show to critic the contestants, would also be leaving the programme after 10 years. In her statement, Ball thanked Waite as well as other regular show contributors, Gethin Jones and costume designer Vicky Ball. As a massive BBC Strictly fan, I have loved spending my autumn tea times with the celebrity dancers and gorgeous and awesome pro dancers. The judges, my girl Vicky Gill, Wyland, Given, and of course my main man Ian Waite. Ball said, "Time now for some new cha-cha challenges. I will continue to support the Strictly family on Breakfast Show and can't wait to watch the class of 2021 from my sober. Whose love and grateful thanks to Tess Daly and Claudia Winkleman and the whole of Strictly clan. It Takes Two fans, my glam squad, Eve Winstanley, Stanley, Alex McLeod, and the BBC Two gang. And of course, the best telly crew ever. I will miss you all immensely." The BBC has not yet confirmed if Ryland will take over presenting the show full time or if a co-presenter will be brought in. A BBC spokesperson said, "We'd like to thank Zoe for an amazing decade on It Takes Two, and she always takes part in Strictly family. We will miss her sense of fun, passion for all things dance, and all those things, sequin jumpers. Well-announced plans for the show in due course." Tess Daly, who presents the main Strictly series on BBC One, was one of the several high profiles who paid tribute to Ball. "Oh no, we all miss you so much." Daly wrote in on Instagram comments, "Loved every minute watching you on the show, laughing along with you and watching you get teary-eyed every now and then because your gorgeous big heart bursting for them. You are just brilliant." Clara Amfo, who competed on the show last year, added, "You do this job with such genuine joy and ease. Thank you. You're always making It Takes Two the sweetest addition to the experience." Professional dancer and currently Strictly champion Oti Mabuse said, "We are going to miss you so much. You've always been a deep part of the family. Looking forward to hearing from you on the radio." Before Ball took over presenting duties, It Takes Two was hosted by Claudia Winkleman, who later moved to Strictly Come Dancing after the departure of Bruce Forsyth. Ball herself competed in the third series of Strictly. She made it into the final, but cricketer Darren Gough eventually won the Glitter Ball Trophy. Ball is the biggest paid female star at the BBC and earns more than $1 million for presenting on Radio 2's Breakfast Show. Her salary for Takes Two is not included in the corporation's annual report, as it is produced by the BBC's commercial arm, BBC Studios. I just want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Proclamation News and Gatherence. I'm overwhelmed with the constant support I get across the whole spectrum of social media. I'm a media studies expert since 1996, now studying arts and humanities. This is it. This is big. and this is everyone coming through. I just want to say thank you for the constant support of everyone coming through. Everyone on Podbean, everyone on Castbox, everyone on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever you are, I love you all. God bless. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care.